All right. Every single time I failed my goals, I followed the exact same trap. I started with flawless discipline. I saw the initial results, and then my own mind presented me with a logical lie. I've earned one small exception. In that split second, I destroyed everything. I didn't pause the game, I just sent myself straight back to level 1. Most people spend their lives focusing on creating beautiful, vague visions of their ideal future. The problem is, my brain, just like anyone's, is wired to run away from what it hates far more than it is to chase what it vaguely desires. If I wanted true, unshakable drive, I had to stop chasing illusions. I had to look in the mirror and face my worst case scenario. I started thinking about the compounding costs of inaction. If I maintained my old trajectory, making small allowances every Friday, letting things slide because I had a stressful day, where would I land in 12 months? I was becoming the person who is trapped in a loop of constant uh, restarts, possessing a mind that knows what to do but lacks the internal authority to execute it. This was not about failing a diet, it was about living with a heavy daily realization that I was actively setting for a lesser version of myself. I let that specific reality settle in until the comfort of my bad habits began to feel dangerous. In a video game, the rules are clear. If you die before passing a checkpoint, you lose your momentum and the game forces you back to the starting line. In real life, I realized it works exactly the same way. When I stuck to a clean plan for a few weeks and then allowed myself a plan exception, I wasn't hitting pause. My body was not waiting and at level 47 for me to casually resume the routine. The reality was I was bankrupting my self respect capital. Every time I made a heavy promise to myself in the morning and broke it by evening, my brain logged a systemic failure. My subconscious mind stopped taking my own commands seriously. When I said, I'm staying on a plan today, and 12 hours later, I gave in to a craving, I taught my mind that my word had zero value. I became a person I could not trust. My constant anxiety and lack of physical progress were rarely caused by bad genetics. They were the direct result of breaking promises to myself. More than 1,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "It is more important to keep the resolutions you already made than to go and make noble ones." To break this cycle, I had to realize that human nature naturally defaults to the path of least resistance. Left unmanaged, my attention would always drift toward short term comfort. It was not a personal defect. It is how the human brain is designed to save energy. Because of this, trying to rely on inspiration or mood to get things done was a losing strategy for me. To achieve constant progress, I had to establish an unyielding framework for my day. My rules could not be treated as a set of options I reviewed based on how tired I was. They had to become absolute boundaries. When I removed the option to negotiate with my feelings, I protected my mental energy for the actual work instead of wasting it on deciding whether to start. The solution to my lack of progress was not stronger will. The solution was complete isolation from distractions feeding my weaknesses. For 3 years, I followed a strict carnivore lifestyle. My muscle growth was excellent, my mind was sharp, and my health felt optimal. Yet, despite pushing heavy weights in the gym, a stubborn, small layer of fat around my lower stomach simply would not go away. My weight stayed completely stuck at the floor of 82 kilograms. I was caught in a trap of exceptions. Every single week, I scheduled a 1 to 2 day carbohydrate refeed, believing the common fitness myth that it was necessary to reload muscle energy and protect my metabolism. But from a biological standpoint, this weekly shift acted as a total system reset. Every single weekend, eating those carbs triggered a massive insulin spike, completely shut down fat burning, and caused my body to hold water. I was resetting my progress back to level 1 every 7 days. Maybe I wasn't that strict carnivore after all. The breakthrough happened when I stopped the loophole entirely. I went 100% carnivore with zero compromises. The results were fast and undeniable. In just 30 days, my weight dropped from 82 to 79 kilograms. The stubborn fat finally disappeared while my strength actually increased. I cut out the options, removed every single piece of off plan food from my environment, and forced my body to fully adapt to its true fuel. I realized that if a distraction or bad food is within arm's reach, we waste precious brain power just trying to resist it. I had to eliminate the choice entirely. Modern cognitive science confirms exactly what the Stoics realized centuries ago. The brain is in a constant war zone between prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic, long term planning and execution, and the primitive structure that demand instant gratification and quick dopamine. When I gave myself an unexpected reward, like a cheat meal or skipping a hard workout, my brain registered a massive dopamine spike. My nervous system instantly learned that this bad habit was an excellent way to escape stress. By giving in, I was physically training my brain to be weaker. I was reinforcing the very pathways that kept me stuck. True mastery was built in absolute boredom through the monotonous repetition of the exact same basic actions day after day. It was like grinding for experience points in an role playing game. When I refused my weekly carbohydrate refeeds, I wasn't just changing my nutrition, I was physically altering my neural pathways. I was weakening the brain connections responsible for the cravings and strengthening the areas responsible for executive control. I didn't build willpower by watching motivational videos online. I built it by forcing my brain to obey difficult commands until self control became my natural default state. To stop failing and ensure my execution remained flawless, I had to replace temporary emotions with a strict rule based protocol. This became my daily operating system. First, I isolated my variables to zero options. I defined my parameters with clear, unmovable borders. Since I choose a specific path, there were no special days, no sudden adjustments, and no weekly exceptions. I put my critical daily task into my calendar as unmovable blocks, just like high stakes business meeting I could not miss. Second, I managed immediate friction. When my primitive brain visualized a difficult task, it felt instant resistance and wanted to quit. I broke this friction by shortening my focus. I used the 5 minute rule. I told my mind I only had to pack my bag to start the task for 300 seconds. Once I physically crossed that initial threshold, my natural momentum took over and the lazy resistance disappeared. Discipline is not an inherent trait. It is a real-time choice made in a moment of deep laziness. Right now, as you finish watching this video, your primitive mind is already trying to categorize this information as just another interesting theory, so it can safely return to its comfortable habits. That exact reaction is the moment you begin your journey straight back to level 1. Break that cycle. Do not wait for next Monday to make a radical shift. Cross those first 5 minutes of frictions right now. Open your calendar and block out your next execution window as an unmovable commitment. Clear your space. Throw away everything that degrades your goals and force your primitive mind to listen to your logic. Build your self respect capital. Refuse to take a step back to the starting line and take absolute control over your mind and body. If you need a systemic tool to audit this fight, I have placed a daily verification checklist and a strict AI stoic monitor prompt in the description below. Stop compromising. I'll see you at the next level. Take care.